second string, LA Tom absolutely bolting, so he's still so dominant, so strong.
He's just got so much strength and depth, hasn't he? And he's always got one waiting in the wings. We were expecting a glistening performance from Marshborough. We didn't quite get that, but gosh, wasn't Eloto Tomp impressive? I thought Paul Townend gave him an absolutely beautiful ride. And we've been seeing William Mullins playing with different types of headgear, haven't we?
Yes.
Hood was off for Eloto Tomp yesterday, worked a treat. I wasn't expecting him to run like that, were you?
No, I wasn't. Obviously, his very best form has not been here, has it?
Exactly.
Maybe an excuse to Triumph Hurdle, he sort of bolted off, didn't he? He's had his excuses, but he was really, really good yesterday. Mark Walt, hard day for him yesterday, three falls yesterday, but apparently he's okay. What are you looking forward to today?
Plenty to look forward to. I'm hoping to back some winners today, Niall, because the last couple of days have been challenging, hard to find winners.
I'll give you one tip. Don't ask me. I find it very hard as well. It's
been tough, hasn't it? So hopefully there'll be some shorties in there today. Looking forward to seeing Bambino Fever and seeing what she can do. Interesting that they put the tongue tie on her today, but I think her record around Cheltenham speaks for herself, and I think she's going to dominate in the first. And looking forward to, of course, the Stayers Hurdle and the Ryanair. I think it'll be interesting to see what they do with the Ryanair, isn't it? With John Bond being backed, Factor File at the top of the market.
Easy to back at the minute.
Exactly, yeah.
We'll both run.
We'll both run, that's the question, isn't it?
6 Mile Bridge is out in the count of the ground, which slightly surprised me because in the next couple of hours the rain looks like it's probably to the latter end of the card, but there is rain forecast. We'll hear from John Pullen in due course, but slightly surprised and slightly disappointing. Disappointing.
Sadly, Fergal won't be able to get his first win on the board at the Cheltenham Festival today, but I really fancy 6 Mile Bridge. I thought he had a fantastic chance, you know, especially with Kitsball winning yesterday. That franked that form, but Jordan's Cross has been backed into favouritism now, and with Quebecois running so well on Tuesday, that's franked that form. And the Timeform race at the trials meeting always throws up a good horse, doesn't it? So I think he'll run well, but I'm hoping Regent Stroll will be able to put in a good performance for the Nichols team after what happened yesterday with no drama this end. Hopefully they'll be able to bounce back in good style and back up after they won this race last year with Corwell Potter.
I was asking you earlier, he seems fine apparently. You've heard no drama this end?
There's no drama this end this morning.
Yeah, good.
Plenty of dramas yesterday, but that's sport for you, isn't it? These things happen, and in a 21 runner grade 1, it's sadly wasn't meant to be, but the horse is A1, and hopefully we can kick on again and go to something like Aintree or take it to the Irish from Punchestown.
That was a messy race. The Stayers Hurdle could be a messy race. Out of all of them, nothing. Hugh might go forward, but a lot of these like to drop in. Cabral de Mathan obviously has to prove it a trip, but he can be a little bit keen. I think he'll drop in. Bob Ollinger with Noel drop in. It could be potentially messy again. There's not much pace on at all, is there? So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm intrigued to see how Cabral de Mathan will handle the step up and trip. Obviously, it hasn't been the plan all season. I was quite surprised that they've come here, but it will be interesting to see how the ground fares over the afternoon, because if we do get the rain that we're expecting, then that could change the makeup of that race, I think. But I'm looking forward to seeing Mashan too. I think he's got a fantastic chance, and we've seen Emma Lavelle do some brilliant things with Stayers in the past, so I'm hoping Mashan too will be able to get his head in front. Who do you fancy in it? Cabral de Mathan was the one all week that he was the only horse I backed anti-post coming here today. I am worried to set up the race that he'll be a little bit keen. He'll have to drop in and settle, but I still think he's unexposed. I think he's a hell of a horse, so it's a good race. You've got him at 25 to 1 as well. For a few pennies. But the way it's going the last couple of days, you might drift out that price. Right, we're looking forward to bringing you all the action here on Mark Your Card this morning as we welcome in back at base camp in the dry. It's a very good morning to Rachel Casey. Hi, Rachel.
Hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to the studio. We're halfway there. I love today, I really do. We've got 3 grade 1s, but also you've got the past champions returning to write their name in the story once again. Let's take a look at the card then, and we get underway with the Ryanair Mares Novices Hurdle to kick things off, and coming your way live on Racing TV at 1:20. You got the Jack Richards Novices Limited Handicap Chase, a grade 2 at 2, and the 240 is the Close Brothers Mares Hurdle, grade 1, the first of 3, followed by the Paddy Powers Stayers Hurdle at 3:20. You've got last year's winner Bob Ollinger in the lineup, and of course the star of the day, Factor File, looking to defend his crown in the Ryanair Chase at 4 o'clock. At 4:40 it's the Pretemps Network Handicap Hurdle, and the final race of the day is the 5:20, and that will be the Kinmure Challenge Cup. And now, if you've not been on the website this week, you've been missing a whole host of betting opportunities. Lots of good tips coming from the likes of Lydia Hislop, Dave Nevison, and so many more. You got the runner by runner guide, and lots of different news stories. You can go back and listen to all of the fantastic interviews from the track throughout the week, and so much more on racingtv.com. And if you're feeling lucky, We're all feeling a bit lucky today, aren't we? And we have got our competition once again, where you can win daily prizes. Do get involved, play the Cheltenham Challenge, go find out what's on the line today. It's free to play, and you can enter for free at racingtv.com/games or scan the QR code now. Wonderful day at the festival yesterday. Of course, we are looking forward, but I'm sure all the guys at the track, Gary and the two gents beside you, really enjoyed all of the action yesterday and can't wait for today.
Likewise, Rachel. Yeah, very good morning and welcome everyone to our paddock side position here ahead of day 3 of the festival. Big welcome to Sam and to Chris as well. And after the lovely mild temperatures of the first couple of days, guys, we've got some proper national hunt weather. Sam, how are you feeling about it all?
I'm a proper Jonah, I am. It's been beautiful here for you for 2 days. I turn up and we get 90-mile-an-hour winds and the rain moving in. But yeah, it's been a great week so far. Really good week so far. Some terrific performances on the track. And I think today, sometimes I'd be a bit lukewarm about the Thursday, but I think it's a really, really great stayers hurdle today. Potential to be a really great stayers hurdle, and the Ryanair's got plenty of. I think there's a bit more depth to it than we thought there was going to be. So yeah, I think
it does set up really nicely, doesn't it?
It does, and I said this yesterday. I thought coming into the festival it just felt like a bit of an old school festival with bigger fields. We didn't have the same number of really short price favourites. There's a few that people can take a view on, but it's not race after race kind of. It felt like at times been trying to find the each way alternative to horses that you thought were probably going to win, and it hasn't really felt like that this year. So again, today's card, it does look a good competitive one. There's angles into various races. You can make arguments for and against the couple of short ones that there are on the card. A few short ones, a few more of them today. But yeah, it is still good competitive stuff.
Very much so. Before we look ahead and try and find you some winners here on St. Patrick's Thursday, we're going to just take you back to day 2 here yesterday. Willie Mullins continuing to motor along very nicely indeed. And of course, guys, he landed the big one, the BetMGM Queen Mother Champion Chase. Not, of course, with Madgeborough, who fluffed his lines in a major way once again here at Cheltenham, but with Elate Tom, and he was very well back too, Sam, wasn't he?
He was, yeah, and moved through the race brilliantly. I mean, I should imagine Paul Tannen and Willie Mullins could have got a better setup than this. Obviously, Madgeborough's jumping deteriorated as the race wore on. He took a couple of offences with him when he, most needed to. He got softened up a little bit by Calixios. Loda Sud moved into the race, and there you just see Paul Tannen, very quiet on the outside, just drafting into the race. The hood came off. They changed 1 or 2 things at home. Just got the old Elate Tom back, and I think that's been almost a sign of the last couple of days, really, with the Mullins horses. They've had hard races at the DRF, they had hard races at Ascot, but the restorative powers at Clossutton have meant that they've all come here looking very fresh horses. Cargeese, Elate Tom, 1 or 2 others as well that have come back off hard runs previously and come back here 5 weeks later and put in a performance like this.
He's a fantastic little horse, this fella. I don't know what went wrong at Ascot on his previous run, but take that out and it's been a pretty triumphant 12 months or so for him. And a great example again, Chris, of the depth of Willie Mullins. Madgeborough bombs out, Elate Tom is there to pick up the pieces. We saw with Cargese on the first day beating Kopek de Board. We're going to talk about the Brown Advisory again in a second. It's just that strength and depth, isn't it?
Yeah, strength in depth, strength in numbers, and yeah, they're, so far as Madgeborough is concerned, I think he's just got a brilliance about him, and I think when he is good, he's going to just be exceptional, a little bit like he was on his previous start. Yeah, and I really don't think there is any in between, because he's going at such a gallop as well. When he makes mistakes, it really makes an impact. It's essentially a high-speed crash with the fence every time he makes a mistake, isn't it?
It could just be that this track is too tight for him, and Leopardstown just affords him a little bit more time between the fences and less turning.
I think he just got into a really good rhythm at Leopardstown. He was left alone. There was no one pestering him. And I think, in a way, Leopardstown, it made it look like the best way for him to get the best out of his jumping with the cheap pieces on is just let him roll along. I haven't gone back and checked, but he would have been, I'm sure, going a good deal quicker yesterday than he was when he got into that nice uncontested rhythm at Leopardstown. And
but he got into a fair rhythm here early, didn't he?
He did, but that's the thing, isn't it? Until he did, and
I just think off too early then, didn't he?
He just started getting longer, and you kind of felt, even after a few fences, that he's either going to be brilliant or deck it, really. That was the way that I was looking at it, because he was just so bold, wasn't he, and aggressive. And
look, I've never ridden, but he doesn't seem to be the horse that can get in and fiddle. Well, he didn't yesterday anyway. He wasn't even trying to get in and fiddle, and a bit of self-preservation. It was almost, he got braver and braver and braver. Like you say, took off a step or two before he had to, and nearly breasted a couple of the fences. Yeah, it's back to the drawing board as far as Madge was concerned, but Elate Tom certainly was brilliant. Brown Advisory Novice Chase. Well, Final Demand was the big hope we all thought for Willie Mullins, and he duly left that eclipse at the Dublin Racing Festival well behind. But again, Chris, it was a stable companion. He was there to get in his way, and Kitzbühel, it was a smashing effort, wasn't it, from the front? Yeah, it was, and it in the main has been the theme of the week on the old course, as is often the case, that the pace holds up, and Kitzbühel did get in a really good rhythm. I felt that he would jump out to his right a good deal more, and I think Paul Townend even said after in the post-race interview, I sort of mentioned straight after the race, I think the reason that he went for that inside run is that he was cautious of coming on the outside of Kitzbühel as they turned in case he wiped him out, and he did get a clear enough shot at the race. He maybe had to wait for a brief moment, did he, Sam, as they turned in, but yeah, I don't think it made a difference. He got there, and he did, yeah. Yeah, he's had every chance. I think it was a smart ride by both riders, to be honest. I thought Harry Cobden, exemplary from the front yet again. He rides this place so well off the front, doesn't he? We've seen it time and time again. Quebecois, he was unlucky on day one. Yeah, front-running ride, beautifully measured ride, and Kitzbühel was just tremendous. First winner, was it, for the Corto Star to win the Brown Advisory? Is that right? Yeah. I think so, yeah. Salva, obviously running well as well out of that race, so that was a positive for that race, but I just thought Kitzbühel was just brilliant. His fences, was he 9.2 on the jump index, something like that, but you could see that with your own eyes, couldn't you? He never missed a beat. He really was superb, and of course today he started on the best possible note for the Closutton Juggernaut as well, with King Rasco Gray landing the Turner's novice hurdle, and probably the only surprise, and the trainer said it himself, Chris, was the SP 11 to 1. I think Sober was the shortest price Mullins runner. He never threatened to get involved, whereas King Rasco Gray did what I think Willie Mullins was suggesting he might do after Leopardstown. It was a curious market, wasn't it? And I think the information was kind of all there. Willie Mullins had kind of said going into his previous run that he was just a little bit short. And he ran that way, didn't he? Behind Talk the Talk and Ballyburn. He kind of got there and flattened out. But he was all the straighter for it. I think he enjoyed going up in trip. He enjoyed the ground. He travelled everywhere. And yeah, it was a good performance. Another Nicky Henderson runner running extremely well. And his horses are worth a mention, because for all that Mullins has won 5 Grade 1s already this week, Nicky Henderson's horses, he's won a Supreme obviously, but his horses throughout have been running their race, haven't they? He's had a few winners, but those that have been beaten have nearly all run very, very well as well. I wonder whether the ground has something to do with that as well. I know Nicky's inherited Old Park Star and Active Innocence, but they just seem to travel so well, his horses, on good ground, don't they? Active Innocence finishing second there under Nico de Bonville. Of course, there was that altercation between himself and Declan Queally. We'll wait and see what the fallout is from that as the days and weeks progress. Looking at the rest of the car, guys, I'd love to highlight Final Order's performance in the cross country. I thought he was brilliant for a little horse, the way he took those obstacles, wasn't he? Yeah, brilliant. So nimble, so effective and smooth at his fences, wasn't he? And he was just sort of in and out of fences, wasn't he? We've seen that before in that race as well, that if you can get into a rhythm, head of affairs, really difficult to make up ground, and they were pretty much 1-2 throughout, weren't they? And the bumper, Colin Keane, following Jamie Spencer, Chris, that was a special moment for him, wasn't it? Yeah, I'm sure it was, and you know, it's something unique for a flat rider to get a chance, isn't it? But I thought that was a really good display from him. I think there was a few horses for the future as well out of that, as there always is in a champion bump. But yeah, that was a brilliant performance, yeah. Okay, that was day 2. Some of the highlights there, plenty more from Chris and from Sam as we look ahead to St Patrick's Thursday in due course. But let's get the all-important going news. Clerk of the course, John Pullen, standing by with Niall.
Right, time to get the going update with John Pullen as we move on to the new course today. When we're doing our opener, it looked like it was going to be a shower. It actually didn't really materialise.
No, that's it. Forecast today it's sort of mainly dry this morning, but we could see a shower in the next hour or so. Nothing too significant volume-wise, just a light shower. There is some light rain coming in around lunchtime and early afternoon, but the heavier rain comes late afternoon and certainly through the night.
Paul Nolan and Gordon Elliott walked the track. They were sort of more, they were complimentary. Said there's a bit more juice in it than the old course walking this morning, I felt. Yeah,
so we did some selective irrigation last night. Yeah. So we put average of 4 millimetres around most of the loop, really. Just conscious that you know, we had pretty strong drying day yesterday on both courses. Evapotranspiration rate was sort of 1.2 millimetres, so we lost quite a lot of moisture yesterday. So took the decision, knowing that we'd got rain coming, but just wanted to be comfortable that there was enough moisture in the track at this stage to start off today's racing.
It's to put an extra support on the wings. It's forecast to get quite blustery, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So the wind's due to build as well through the day, and certainly through the peak of the afternoon, we could see gusts of somewhere between 40 and 45 miles an hour.
That's sort of higher end, that really where you want it, isn't it?
It is really, yes. So as you say, we're putting extra supports on the wings just to make sure we've got everything sort of nailed down as much as we can, and we'll just have to monitor conditions through the afternoon.
Move into tonight. Looks a heavier band of rain ahead of obviously the Cheltenham Gold Cup tomorrow. What do you envisage tomorrow looking like? Yeah,
so I mean the forecasts are certainly indicating somewhere near 10 mil in total from late this afternoon through to the early hours of tomorrow. If we get that sort of volume, then conditions will certainly ease, and we'll certainly be nearer sort of soft ground, and if not soft ground, for tomorrow.
Right. We see over here the wings you've kept fresh ground.
Yes, yeah, that's what we do throughout the season. We save this in a line, we keep off it. We put fence extensions on during the season so that we race wider out and keep this inside line fresh for tomorrow. So we'll open that up tonight. We'll take the rail down and give them that strip on this chase course tomorrow.
And the wind, when's that due to die down?
That should die down, in the early hours. It's still reasonably blustery tomorrow. We are 30, 35 miles an hour tomorrow, but not as bad as today.
Right, good stuff. Well, looking forward to it. Plenty of people wanting to get hold of you. There is a couple of non-runners ongoing today, but early in the card, that's fine, isn't it? You don't think the ground's going to change before race 1 or 2? No, certainly not. And I think it's to be expected. There'd be plenty of horses here probably looking for soft ground. Yeah. Particularly with the build-up that we had. We had a very wet build-up, and it looked at one stage as if we were going to have quite a soft festival. But we've been pretty dry since then. So I'm not surprised that there are 1 or 2 coming out. But I think it is just genuinely those that want easier ground. Yeah, good stuff. Thank you very much for the updates. That's John Pullen. Clarkhill, of course. Blustery showers and heavy rain later in the afternoon. It's time for us to get stuck into some of the feature races. We're going to start off with the Ryanair Chase.
Once again, Willie Mullins looks to hold the key to the Ryanair Chase this time round, and you can see the last 10 winners, 6 of them have been trained by Willie Mullins, including last year's winner Fact to File. We had Protectorat winner for the Skeltons back in 2024, and Voix Alan, who will be at the festival this year once again. Allaho taking it twice for Willie Mullins alongside Min, and Froden for Paul Nichols and Bryony Frost, who've had some big stories and some great days with this race. And of course, looking ahead to 2026. And here are the runners for this year's renewal. Starting with number 1, Banbridge. He's a former King George winner, a load of class, back class, and certainly an interesting contender. Croke Park sadly is out of this year's race, a bruised foot we're hearing this morning. And number 3 is Fact to File. Well, an amazing performance in the Irish Gold Cup for Willie Mullins and Mark Walsh in the JP McManus colours. Heartwood is next for Henry de Bromhead, number 4. And number 5 is Impair A Pass. Paul Townend, leading rider at this year's festival for trainer Willie Mullins. 6 is John Bon. He's a 12-time Grade 1 winner, but he's never won at the Cheltenham Festival. Could he change that this afternoon? And number 7 is JPR1 for the Tizard team. They are rolling the dice. And number 8 is Master Chewy, 5th in the race last year. And number 9, Matata, had a great spin over course and distance on New Year's Day, and also taking his chance. So that's the field. Here's the market. And it's headed up by Fact to File at even money. John Bon at 100 to 30. I think surprised a few, the fact that they're going to be running today. He's an incredible horse. Impair Pass at 5 to 1. Banbridge at 13 to 2. Heartwood at 12 to 1. Matata at 28 to 1. JPR1 at 40 to 1. And Master Chewy at 150 to 1. So Fact to File, the favourite. And I said at the top of the show, always great to see these past champions coming back, because last year in the Ryanair, well, he looked untouchable.
File. He's over safely. Factor File 8 lengths in front, but he's laughing at them here. It's Factor File, a class act in the Ryanair Chase. He's away by 10 lengths near the line, and Factor File has won the Ryanair.
It is Factor File out in front from stable companion Gaelic Warrior, bouncing right back to form in the 26 penny per Irish Gold Cup.
He jumps, he gallops, he's got a temperament too, which is beautiful. You know, if your horse settles like that, that's what you need.
Oh, wow, what a horse and what a day it could be for Mark Walsh in the JP McManus colours with a Factor File, and so good in this contest last year, but also right back to form in the Irish Gold Cup. Looked so impressive, and if he's in top order, well, he'll be very, very tough to beat today for Willie Mullins, leading trainer at this year's festival. And I think the guys on course will agree that last year he was absolutely mustard, Gary.
It was a tour de force, Rachel, wasn't it? Dominated the race from a long, long way out. It was all over, really, bar to fall as we joined them here down the home straight. Hartwood chases him home. Master Chewy was further back in the field. If this Factor File turns up today, guys, how tough is he going to be to topple?
Very difficult. The ground will be different, which might be a little bit of a chink and give you a bit of an air of vulnerability about his chance today, given what he did at Kempton and the fact that he took no real great effect on that race, but here he was just totally dominant from a long way out. Hartwood's finished second at a respectable distance, run a really creditable race, but yeah, he looks a different class.
We're going to have a look at his win in the Irish Gold Cup in just a second. Obviously, this helped banish the memory of that disappointing run at Kempton in the King George, where it just started to go wrong for him from an early stage, I thought, Chris. Are we happy that he's running in the Ryanair? Would you guys have liked to see him in the Gold Cup?
I would like to see him in a Gold Cup. I actually watched last year's renewal back this morning, last year's Ryanair win, and he was so impressive, and lucky picking up straight after the race. Surely next year he'll be going for gold. And after this, in the Irish Gold Cup, I fully expected that he would line up there, and I thought that John Bond would come here and have a go at the Ryanair to get his festival win, and that's how it all seemed to stack up. Then looked like John Bond wasn't bothering, Factor File was coming, and if he is as good as he was in the race last year, then he'll light up the day again, and he will be very hard to beat. There's no doubt about it. The question is, will he turn up in the same form, really? And I think the ground is a genuine concern. If it doesn't rain or in any significant amount, which doesn't look likely prior to that race, then his two poor runs have been on the quickest ground conditions that he's been on, and they have been on the back of a bigger effort as well. So I think there are just a couple of question marks as to whether he will absolutely give his running this afternoon.
We're going to see him in action in the King George now in our next piece of footage here, where, of course, he was ultimately a bit disappointing, you'd have to say. And Banbridge, Sam went so close to winning it for a second time in that frantic finish. Conditions should be in Banbridge's favour if the rain doesn't arrive in great volume today. I guess it'll be a watching brief on that front. I
think there's a likelihood of perhaps 2 or 3 millimetres, and then there's probably more going to come in after the Ryanair, and that should suit Banbridge. Although, you know, he has won his 6th run of Novice Chase round here, but he's also been beaten big distances in a Ryanair as well. So that would be a slight concern. And you just feel, you know, given that he was a King George holder, this track at Kempton suits him a lot better on decent ground than perhaps round here, which would be a bit of a question mark for me. But yeah, it's a strong piece of form, isn't it? I know people have said that 4 horses are finished within a length of each other, but you know, bar Factor File, all the right horses were involved in the finish here.
Is he a player for you, Chris?
Definitely. I think if the rain did arrive in significant volume, he wouldn't take his chance. I think he's here because the ground is as it is. I have a slight notion, like Sam, that a flat track suits better, but I'm not overly concerned about it. I think today will tell us more on that front. I think you look at his 2 poor runs at a Cheltenham Festival, 3 1/4 miles of a Gold Cup is too far for him, and it was soft ground when he ran in a Ryanair. So I think there's genuine excuses for those 2. He won a Martin Pipe here, admittedly over hurdles, but that kind of gives sort of credence to the fact that he can act around here. He's won a small field Novice Chase as well. So I don't actually think that the track is too much of a problem. I'm happy to forgive for other reasons that are nothing to do with it being Cheltenham and the Cheltenham Festival on his most recent visits. I think the ground is just so important to this horse. And he's the one in terms of raw ability, alongside now John Bon, who I wasn't expecting to line up but does. They're the ones that really can give Factor File a race, even on their very best form. They're probably, what, 3 or 4 pounds, 5 pounds behind him on absolute peak efforts. The official handicap would have them with a few pounds to find, but it's a surmountable difference, and I think he's a big player.
We were speaking a little bit earlier on about some of Willie Mullins' winners this week, surprising maybe shorter price stable companions. Well, I think, Sam, the race is all the better for Impere Pass being pitched in here. We're going to have a look at his win in the Red Mills Chase at Gurren Park last time. I don't know about you, I thought he did really well to get up here because it was a steadily run affair. And he was asked a fair question, I thought, by Paul Townend this day. Can he get involved here?
I think he's an intriguing runner because if Factor File was the walkover that a lot of people think he is, then I'm surprised that Impere Pass is in the race, given that, you know, he acts and operates so well around Aintree that seemed to be the way that they were leaning, and the fact that he is actually here running in this race, you know, Willie Mullins is on record as saying that he didn't enter him for the Gold Cup because, you know, he didn't want to be tempted to run him in a Gold Cup, so he obviously holds him in really high esteem. He's been away, he's had a couple of away days, hasn't he, I think, with Kopek to board, and, you know, this was all class, his performance to pull it out of the fire eventually. I know it's a small field chase for Angora, and it's going to be a different kettle of fish today, but he's obviously got tons of latent ability, and he was tremendously impressive at Aintree last year.
We've got one more to show you, and that is Hartwood, who chased home Factor File at a respectable distance 12 months ago. We'll have a look at his win in the big chase at Tremor on New Year's Day. Smashing horse in his own right. This is a big day for Henry de Bromhead. A lot of good chances on the card, but Chris, you just sense life has got a fair bit tougher for this guy with the likes of John Bon and Impere Pass all of a sudden back on the scene.
Yeah, exactly. It's a stronger renewal in terms of overall depth, I think, than last year when he was no match for Factor File, but was an honourable second. But the race is more stacked this year. There are more good in-form horses in the field this time around. In a rating sense, that official ratings going into the race, it on paper isn't necessarily miles better than it was last year, but I'd argue that it is definitely a better race than it was
much deeper, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, he was the wise guy pick, wasn't he, Hartwood? Because people went down the list and thought, well, that's not going to run, that's not going to run, that's not. And then all of a sudden, 2 or 3 have been parachuted into the race. It's not a 6-runner race, it's an 8-runner race. And look, he'll run his race again, I think. And a lot of the de Bromhead horses have run really well this week without winning. At big prices, we saw that in the Coral Cup yesterday. And there's been, you know, the likes of Zurich have run really well. So I wouldn't rule him out, but he has doubled in price in the last 48 hours with these declarations.
And there are the prices with Sky Bet, and as Sam said, we have got the dead 8s. I'd be mighty tempted by Impere Pass at 5 to 1 there. What do you reckon, Chris?
If I was having an each way play, it'd be Banbridge. I backed him anti-post each way because I didn't think a few of these were going to turn up. It would have looked a brilliant bet, but I kind of thought at the time that he won't run unless the ground is right, and if the ground is right, I expect him to run really well, so he'd be the one for me. John Bon we have to mention, I suppose, to a degree, just because of how good he is. The question with him is always whether he's as good at Cheltenham. For all that he's won a load of races here, I think the evidence is there that he's perhaps not quite as good. Most of his form has been on the old course rather than the new course, and I certainly think that this might suit him a little bit better. I know he got beaten when he ran on, I think he's only run on the new course once, hasn't he, and he got beaten. But he made a significant mistake that day, which was perhaps the reason. But I think generally the thing with him here is I don't think he jumps as well here as he does at an Ascot or a Sandown. So I think, but he's still capable of a high level of form here. So I mean, I'd love to see him win, to be honest. For him to get a festival win would be brilliant.
Well, complete the CV, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
They must have petitioned pretty hard for him to run here, hasn't they, Nicky Henderson and his team, because, you know, they've got Factor File already, who's been an odds-on chance for this race since he was declared for it, and yet John Bon has been thrown into this race as well.
I'm probably way wide of the mark here, but is there half a notion that they could get worried about the ground for Factor File? Because you've got Impere Pass, who we didn't think was going to turn up. And you've got John Bonny, who didn't think was going to turn up, and they're each sort of playing for, you know, you've got a McManus Mullins horse, and they're each covering their back in case he doesn't. Is that fair enough, or is that?
Yeah, definitely plausible. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. There must be an air of, you know,
that even if he's going to run, that they're a little bit worried that he doesn't give his show he's running, maybe.
Yeah.
Needless to say, we'll keep an ear out for any announcements on that score. But as things stand, great race on paper for that Ryanair Chase at 4 o'clock this afternoon. We're going to send you back to the studio now, where Rachel has been joined by Josh Kerr.
I have. Welcome back, Josh. Good day yesterday?
Oh, it was a very exciting day again, wasn't it? We did see that Majborough's jumping woes came to the fore, and unfortunately, you know, he wasn't able to perform to his best, but it was a fantastic performance from Imperial Pass.
I'd love to know what he's thinking, Majborough. We've got all the stats and the facts with Race IQ data, but sometimes you want to know what's in the head. Right, what have you got for us today? Obviously, we've just looked at, taken a look at the Ryanair. We've got John Bon, I think, is a bit of a surprise package in there now. Didn't expect him to turn up, and of course, you got Factor File, who's just been awesome.
Yeah, absolutely, and the data very much suggests that Factor File is the one to beat, and we'll look at that in a little bit more detail in a moment. But yeah, as you say, John Bon, many didn't expect him to turn up here, but he has. And a bit like Factor File, John Bon is a horse who could appreciate the tempo of the Ryanair a bit more than the Champion Chase. Let's look at John Bon in the Champion Chase last year, and there is a trend with horses being put under pressure early with their jumping, arriving at that high tempo in races, making jumping harder for them. Here in the Champion Chase, John Bon has arrived at his first 4 fences at more than 32 miles per hour. The winner, Marine Nationale, slightly less than that. And that puts them under pressure, and the data bears out that actually that makes it harder for them jumping later on. Here's the start of the Ryanair last year. Factor File arriving at those fences at an average speed of less than 31 miles an hour. And the data bears out that in each of the last 3 Champion Chases, the jump index recorded by the field as a whole on average was between 7 and 7.5, while in the Ryanair, with that slower early tempo, between 8 and 8.3. So horses finding it easier to jump when doing that. And John Bon, in his case, well, at Cheltenham, where he's had those 6 starts, winning just 2 of those, when he's arrived at the first 4 fences slower than 31 miles an hour on 3 of those occasions, his jumping index has been 7.6. When he's arrived faster than 31 miles an hour, it's been down at 6.0. So he does really struggle with that high tempo. And I'm not saying he's going to necessarily win. I'm not saying that he's not going to make any mistakes, but he should and could find it easier to jump today in the pace of the race. The disadvantage for John Bon, though, generally is his jumping. He hasn't jumped well for a long time. He's only had 3 jump index scores of more than 8. And it's been a long time since he's put in a good round of jumping. The last one of those was back in 2024 in the Melling Chase at Aintree over 2.5. And even the cheek pieces haven't really improved his jump index score. They were down in the 6s, both at Sandown in the Tingle Creek and in the Clarence House, but he did jump much better in the Ascot Chase. When you look at these figures, though, that is a big negative for John Bon. You can see the strike rate is considerably better for horses who come into races with a career jump index of more than 7.2. He's below that threshold. And up the top, Factor File, the most efficient jumper in the race, and on average, he has gained, across all his fences in his career, Factor File, he has gained around 3/4 of a length per fence at every fence throughout his career, and that's largely down to the fact he gets back up to speed. When he's gone over his obstacles, he gets back up to racing speed in about half a second, which is considerably quicker than most horses on average.
Yeah, you're looking at John Bon there with a 7, that index. And I mean, he's a 12-time Grade 1 winner, John Bon. He's won at Cheltenham, but he's never won at the festival. Why do you think that is? Is it kind of the tempo that we see Cheltenham Festival races been run at? I mean, obviously, we've gone into depth there with his jumping. Is that it in a nutshell, do we feel?
I definitely think he should find it easier today with that slower tempo for sure. It's one of those. There will be those sat at home going, John Bond can't jump around Cheltenham and lobbing things at the television properly. Probably there'll be those who are also sat there going, no, there are excuses for every time, etc., etc. And arguably the Champion Chase he could have won was the year he didn't run because the Henderson Yards weren't well. And actually the early pace in that race of the winner, Captain Guinness, was that lower level. So potentially that might have been his chance. Whether or not he'll go on today, I don't know, but my heart would love to see it.
All right, lovely stuff. Thank you for now, Josh, and we'll have more from Josh Kerr looking at all the stats ahead of day 3 here at the festival.
Mark your card. Proudly sponsored by Timeform.
At RaceShare, outstanding results come from sourcing quality horses.
The excitement for buying a racehorse starts right here at Tattersall Sales. Everyone has to do their homework and look for the next big thing.
We're gradually adding to the string with new recruits.
I'm very lucky to be able to have one. She's by Cracksman, she's got beautiful pedigree, so it's very exciting.
We now focus on smaller syndicates, mainly 40 and 100 shares, and will launch our first 4-share syndicate this spring.
Mark your card. Proudly sponsored by Timeform.
Welcome back to Mark Your Card. And a little reminder, if you've not got involved already, you can win daily prizes if you play the Cheltenham Challenge on racingtv.com. It's free to play and you can get involved right now. Enter for free, racingtv.com/games if you're feeling lucky. It is St. Patrick's Thursday after all. And coming up next, we're going to take a look at the Paddy Power Stayers Hurdle. Looking back on the last 10 winners of the Stayers Hurdle, and last year Bob Ollinger at the age of 10, he's 11 now and he's back. Tiupu at 7 for Gordon Elliott, and Jack Kennedy of course in the lineup once again. 3 years ago with Sada Boulay for Gordon Elliott and Mark Walsh, and then 2 more for Ireland with Gavin Cromwell, twice with Florine Porter, Rebecca Curtis with Lisnagore Oscar, and Paisley Park. What an absolute legend for Emma Lavelle and Aidan Coleman, and they have got Matt Shantou in the race this time round. And they're back. Tiupu at 7-2, Bob Ollinger at 7-1, Cabral de Massan at 9-2, Mashantou 9-2, and Impostois 7-1. It's 15-2 and bigger the rest. Even Donny the Great, I mean, he won a race on the card last year as well. So the Paddy Power Stayers, it's a race where so many of them come back for the battle again, and a lot of them looking to take the crown once more.
And they're off for the Paddy Power Stayers Hurdle. Tiupu at the final flight. His lead was a length over Florine Porter in second. Tiupu pouring it on, going clear on the run to the line, and it will be Jack Kennedy and Tiupu who take the Paddy Power Stayers Hurdle. Reigning champion Tiupu has taken the lead, and it's Bob Ollinger who goes on by 2 lengths to Tiupu in second, but it is Bob Ollinger remains unbeaten at Cheltenham, and now 3 Cheltenham Festival wins.
It's Tiupu from Ballyburn, staying on strongly on the outside. Tiupu from Ballyburn heads at the line. It's very close. front. In the Christmas Stairs hurdle is Tiapu. What a consistent horse he is.
What a race it is, and Tiapu 2 years ago, the hero of the Stairs hurdle, and I mean, he's still young, he's only 7. Gordon Elliott has had some amazing Cheltenham festivals, including a winner with this guy, but they'll be looking to maybe hit the bullseye today. But one thing for sure is they've got a fine pair to go out with in the Stairs hurdle. Let's hear from him with Elise O'Neill.
You have a strong hand in the Stairs. Honesty Policy, who looks like the young pretender, Tiapu, who's been there, done that. How are they shaping up so far?
Both horses are in good form, Lisa. Obviously, you know, Tiapu, he's been there and done it. It's hard to believe someone said he's 9. You know, he doesn't feel like he's around the pace that long or he's that old, but he's in very, very good form. His last run in Leopardstown is arguably as good as a run as he ever had. Really looking forward to the Stairs with him. Obviously, the softer the ground, the better the chance he has. Doesn't have to have real soft ground. I mean, Leopardstown the last day wasn't that bad, and Punchestown last year he won it. But I think he's just really effective when it's more hard work for everything else. Honesty Policy, I think he's his biggest danger going into the race this year. I was really impressed with his run in Ascot. I love the way he hit the line. I think we learned an awful lot by him. You know, he really is a Stairs hurdle horse. I'd have loved to go run into him, but the ground has just been so softly. So he's not the biggest, robust horse in the world, and I wasn't really that keen to run him, you know, 5 weeks out from Cheltenham. But I think he could be dangerous, and he'll be coming home very strong.
It's a big day for Gordon Elliott today. He's got some of his major aces to play, and Tiapu is certainly one of those. But he had to get best to Bob Ollinger here 12 months ago, as we'll see in the company of Chris and Sam. What do you reckon they might do differently today, if anything, Chris?
Probably similar to what they did at Leopardstown and just try and slide on a little bit earlier. Now, the race was broken apart at Leopardstown, wasn't it, by Rocky's Diamond, which definitely helped. It made it a test of stamina, which the Stairs hurdle last year wasn't a thorough test of stamina. The finishing speed percentage was pretty high. It wasn't actually that much higher than the year before when Tiapu had come home in front, but he had a classier horse to beat in Bob Ollinger, who last year came into it, I suppose you wouldn't have been absolutely certain he would have been a strong enough stayer, but he was, and he's got a fantastic Cheltenham record. And I think this race this afternoon is just so intriguing because there isn't an obvious front runner in there. Tactically, there's a lot of horses that would want an even enough gallop. And some of that, even though they're unproven stays, is just to help them switch off. Yeah. Because there's horses that are potentially going to be a little bit too keen. So it is really intriguing, I think.
And up until this, Sam, the party line had been that, oh, Tiapu has to be fresh. Well, lo and behold, they ran him at Leopardstown at Christmas for the first time, and he put up one of his best performances.
He did, yeah. In the second's entitled to need it a little bit, wasn't he? You know, making his comeback, and he is brilliant round here, isn't he, Bob Ollinger? 3 from 3 round here. I just think this race has got a fascinating dynamic to it. Unlike a lot of Stairs hurdles that you've seen recently, which are just jam-packed full of grinders, you know, Tiapu's, Home by the Lees, those sort of horses. I think you've got like speed in here as well, haven't you? Marchand too can quicken off decent ground, as we've seen already, albeit in a lower class than he's going to tackle today. We've also got the likes of Ballyburn, who's a sort of 2.5, 2 3/4, maybe 3 mile with the hood on if he settles. Got loads of speed. Cabral de Batan, they'll do well to get him off the bridle as well. So if it is run at a steady enough tempo, that's going to play into the hands of those 3 horses, I think. And this race often is. It's often a lot slower than the Pertemps, has been in recent renewals anyway. So I think the likes of Tiapu, Home by the Lee, Honesty Policy are going to really need a good gallop to run at.
Well, that Leopardstown effort marked a very satisfactory return, as Sam mentioned there, for the defending champion Bob Ollinger, and his trainer Henry de Bromhead has been speaking to Andrew Blair-White.
Bob Ollinger, brilliant winner of the Stairs hurdle last year, another horse that has a great affiliation with Cheltenham. I think to see him do that over 3 miles, though, was almost a surprise for everyone. Was it a surprise to you at all?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, look, he's such a class horse. He can't really surprise us, but it was brilliant to see it, you know, and Rachel was super on him. She gave him a brilliant ride, and look, he's just got so much class. Yeah, and he loves it, and yeah, I mean, I must say, I think he was going to win going in. I probably didn't, but I'm not sure I ever do with any of them. But just the way he did it, he was so good on the day, and it was brilliant to see it for him.
Must have been very pleased with his comeback run at Christmas time, second by Tiopu.
Yeah, lovely run. Yeah, took a little blow there just before the last. He'll come on plenty for it, and he seems in mighty form.
Attracted some support.
It's quite the record he's got here at the track, Bob Ollinger. He, well, let's face it, was a lucky winner of that Turner's Novice Chase when Galopin Des Champs came down at the last. But outside of that, nothing there that you can pick holes in, really. Darragh O'Keefe is the man on board this time around, guys. Rachel, I think it's well documented, gave him a Peter ride last year. Is that Leopardstown run going to be a nice platform, do you feel, Chris?
It looks that way. I mean, this is his place, isn't it? We've already seen it this year. The horses that come back here year after year, Lossiemouth, etc. And I think that is perhaps one of the question marks about a couple of horses in this race, that they haven't yet shown their best here. They haven't had the opportunity to do it. Honesty Policy being one of those, hasn't raced around here. So a bit of a question mark over him. But there is a raft of horses that really love Cheltenham in this race.
And we are now going to have a look at Cabral de Mathan, who's a fascinating addition to the lineup here. Looked for a while as though Dan Skelton might miss today's engagement. Would you take it as a real positive, the way the horse is going at home, Chris, that he is getting the green light?
Yeah, I've no doubt he's a very good horse, and clearly his defeat here of Jinko Blue, who did no harm to the form yesterday, winning the BetMGM Cup in the manner that he did, off a mark of 144, is a form boost and a real positive. If he stays, he's got a big chance. He does need to improve, but he is improving, so I expect that we haven't seen the full extent of what he's got to give, really, Cabral de Mathan, and it was a very comfortable success. I do fear that he will latch on a little bit too much, feel that there is a chance that he wastes a little bit of energy, and I think they will ride him conservatively in order to try and preserve his stamina and get him to switch off. But then there is a possibility that means that he's a little bit out of his ground, which is the same conundrum for a few of them, admittedly. So he's a very talented horse, but for me, he's just got a little bit too short for one that has a few things to prove.
A 6-year-old like Honesty Policy, who will show you now, winning a Grade 1 Novice Hurdle at Aintree last season. Sam, I get the impression from the Elliott camp that obviously Tiopo's the horse who's been there, done it. He's the one for the here and now, but this guy is very much one for the future. Is this going to come a little bit too soon for him, or not necessarily?
Possibly. He's only had 6 starts over hurdles, and this was obviously his 5th, and I thought he did really well to win. I mean, he got Regent Stroll, Cocktail de Van, and he's come and picked those up with an irresistible charge down the outside. And I thought for a horse lacking in experience, his raw ability came out here, and you know, it was a lovely run back at Ascot as well. He got outpaced by quicker horses that day and then rattled home and finished on the heels of them. There were 2 really good efforts. I've no doubt that he's up to winning at this level. Whether it's today or not, I don't know, because I think this is quite a deep race, and you've got horses here that are pretty battle hardened around Cheltenham, and that's that little question mark for me about his chance.
Sorry, Chris, you were going to come in?
I struggle seeing why he would beat Impose Etoile, really. On the Ascot run, Impose Etoile travelled all over him, and he just looked like a horse that was better than him for me.
I think the longer run from 2 out to the last will suit Honesty Policy. I don't know whether Impose Etoile, who's got that little bit of boot, and that one run, I don't know whether that'll suit him quite so much.
Maybe not. I mean, since he stepped up in trip to 3 miles, he's not really put a foot wrong until he went on ground that was probably too soft for him last time out.
Yeah. And he'd been busy enough up to that point as well. That was his 4th run of the season, which is quite a lot for Henderson horse.
Yeah, and they had been quite congested. He's now had a little bit of a freshen up, but I would put down his disappointing run last time out in the Cleve to the ground. And just, I watched it back this morning, the Ascot Impose Etoile Honesty Policy, and I just watched it and thought, well, how does he beat him? I just didn't see it.
He's a classy horse, Impose Etoile. We're going to have a look actually at the Cleves that Chris just referred to there, where he was beaten by Machantou. Dottie the Great involved in this one as well. Machantou, such an admirable horse, guys, and he's making his way, making relentless progress up the ladder. Can he make it all the way to the summit, do you think?
Well,
so?
he has got a bit to find again today, but I don't don't think we've seen the full Marchand 2 yet. Well, I don't know where the ceiling is with him yet. A lot's been written about the fact that he's quite diminutive in size. There's not a lot of him, but he's got a great synergy with and synchronicity with Harry Cobden. He hurdles well, touch wood. He obviously loves Cheltenham. I mean, you know, his record here this year has been fantastic. The only defeat he suffered here is in the Albert Bartlett, pretty much like Paisley Park did, actually. And it's surprising how their sort of two respective careers are playing out. They're quite intrinsically linked, really. Obviously the same connections, but the pathway that they followed. I just thought how he ran away from Imposé Tour was really impressive there. And I know the seconder was conceding weight and the ground wasn't ideal for him, but the way he's hit the line there very strongly, I can't see him not being involved today.
Let's take a final check on the market then and see if the guys can find an angle in here. It's 7-2 the field. Tipa the favourite, Cabral de Mathan and Marchand 2 at 9-2. 5 Ballyburn has been a big springer, but with the form of the Mullins horses, I guess you can see why. Bob Bollinger out to 7 with Imposé Tour, 15-2 Honesty Policy, and then big prices the other trio. Right, gentlemen.
I'd go double-handed. I've backed Marchand 2 anti-post. I feel like he's too short now, and to be honest, I've gone lukewarm on him on the day. I sort of think...
Have you? Why?
Well, because for all that he's going the right way, I don't think his form is as good as a lot of the other horses in the field.
Not yet.
I think he's... No, it isn't yet, but I just feel that they're a little bit classy. I hope he wins, because as I said, I've backed him anti-post, but as I've gone back through it, I sort of look and I think he's beating handicappers that he probably should be beating. I'm not saying that he's flattered in any way, but I think this is a different type of test for him. And then he's won the he's won the Cleve on his most recent start, but he has been getting weight from a horse that I don't think handled the ground. So what does it actually amount to? Today will tell us more. I obviously had a different point of view when I backed him, but I've sort of gone back and kind of changed my mind.
Price as well, though, isn't it? I mean, obviously you're getting
it is a pricing. I look at him compared to Cabral de Mathan, and I think Cabral de Mathan is probably fundamentally a more talented horse, but I've got a doubt about him staying wise. Tiapu, I think he's dead solid. You can throw in the yard form angle if that is an angle. They've had more disappointments than good runs this week, but there have been enough solid efforts from the likes of Brighter Days Ahead, the horse that came down in the
Glory,
who I think probably would have won, and Favre de Champdu, who ran a good race. So you can cling on to those bits, and I think Tiapu is so solid. But the two that I like are Ballyburn, who I think will be ridden handily. I don't personally think that he'll be dropped out. I've heard plenty of thought that he would be. I don't think that's what they'll do. One, because it doesn't often happen with him. When he has been keener. I think they put a hood on him to send him forward and see if that makes him relax a little bit better. How many horses on a regular basis do Paul Townend and Willie Mullins drop out? Ruby used to always ride horses like this relatively well forward. And there's no pace in the race. I just don't see why they would drop him out and then expect him to pull. I think they'll have him handy.
Any worry about him in the preliminaries, Chris? Because he misbehaved that day at Leopardstown. Should we be keeping a close eye on him?
Yes, I think that is a valid point, but I think that might be the other reason for the hood, which could well help him. So he's interesting, I feel.
You've got no problem about a 3-mile run at a good gallop.
Well, I don't know if it's going to be run at a good gallop, and I think he might be in the right place. And if you go back and watch his win here on heavy ground over 2.5 miles, and you look at his win over 2.5 in Ireland on testing ground subsequently, he looks like a stayer. He's bred to be a stayer. By Flemonsforth, there's 3 miles in his pedigree, so I don't really have that concern. He's now shortened up quite a bit, but I still quite like him. And Imposé Tour, who, as I say, I think he had his excuse last time out. He was progressive before that, and he just looks like a smart and progressive stayer.
Okay, it's a fascinating puzzle, isn't it? 3:20 this afternoon for the Paddy Power Stayers Hurdle, who will emerge triumphant. We will find out in due course. For now, though, we're going back to the guys in the studio.
Thank you, Gary. And can I also say good morning and welcome to our Freeview viewers who have just joined us watching Mark Your Card. This is Josh, our stat man, and you're going to make a case for Marchand 2 in the Stayers Hurdle today.
Yes, absolutely. This race in the last 5 years has been an Irish domination. The last two a Rob Corr domination. But despite the great chances of Tiapu and Bob Bollinger, I think Marchand 2 could really give them a run for their money and land the Stayers Hurdle. Let's go back to that Cleve Hurdle last time out for Marchand 2, and we'll join them about 2 out. and about a mile from home, and that's crucial as well to Marchantou here, because it's this final mile that is really, really impressive. This is a horse who got qualified for the Pertemps on good ground in October and looked unbelievably well in, possibly not suited by Haydock in December, and then a very impressive finishing effort here on New Year's Day on good ground. That day, the final half mile was finished by Marchantou in 53 seconds exactly. This effort in the Cleve is on soft ground, and coming home in this final mile over those final 4 furlongs in 53.60, so just over half a second slower, but on much more testing ground. This was a big step forward in improvement from Marchantou, 7th in the Albert Bartlett last year, but those up with the pace didn't finish off their race. Derry House and Paddy was the only one who did. Jacks Jr., First Confession were both pulled up. Wingman came home in 10th. So those that were up the pace that day struggled. You're not going to get that strong a pace early in the stayers this year, as the guys were alluding to. In fact, you don't tend to. The last couple of renewals, the finishing speed percentage, so the last half mile compared to the race as a whole, was run at a finishing speed percentage of 108.5 in 2024. Last year, 110. So you do need speed to win a stayers hurdle these days. And looking at the protagonists involved as well, there is no guaranteed pace. There is no natural front runner, and I think that speed can really play well into the hands of Marchantou. I think Cabral de Mathan also does need a nod, talking about whether the horse will stay. Well, that slow pace will make it easier for Cabral Mathan to stay, and the jumping for that horse has definitely improved, going up from 2 to 2.5. It was 7.7 jump index, now 8.1.
Yeah, and Marchantou progressive as well. You need stamina, you need a bit of boot as well. I agree with you in a stayers hurdle. Wind's picking up there, isn't it, Cheltenham today?
Yes, it is getting very blustery. That wind, it's not a complete headwind into the straight. We're looking it's going to get to about 40 miles an hour. It's a slight crosswind, but certainly it will be making things a bit more challenging in the finish.
Yeah, challenging for everyone, but not Niall Hannity and Ella McNeil. Let's join them now.
With Ella here today, we've really upped our game. That's the reason, Neil. That's why. Where have you brought us?
Well, I know you didn't sleep last night. You were so excited about coming to Chez Roux.
Oh,
Serena's just arrived as well. I think we're going to pour the wines as well from our wonderful two sommeliers here. Look, Chez Roux. We're on the course. We've got a great view of the racing here, and we've got some beautiful food to taste and some lovely wines to taste as well. I came in yesterday, and the buzz was fantastic. The vibe was great, wasn't it, Michelle? Really great.
It was. I think the weather helped.
Yes.
But yeah, definitely the racing, and of course a little sparkle and magic with the wine and the food.
The weather makes a big difference to what people are ordering, doesn't it? Like, it's cold. It feels like winter today, doesn't it?
My word, yes. I mean, we've got the French onion soup on the menu.
That'll be popular today.
It will be very popular today. We'll probably sell about 350 of those, and a little bit less of the stone bass ceviche, which is a cold starter.
By the way, Michelle's starting an account with the totes. He's got a bet on whether there's going to be 400 French onion soups.
Yeah.
You think it's going to be, don't you? Could be.
We should open a book.
Well, we should, yeah. We're going to contact the tote.
And Ella, like, location-wise, we're in between the second last and last fence. It's perfect, isn't it?
What a fantastic spot it is here. And Michelle, how much influence do you have on the design of this restaurant? Because it's absolutely gorgeous with the red and white theme you've got going on.
It really is, isn't it? It is beautiful, and it's comfortable. There's lots of space between the tables.
It's light and bright as well.
And bright it is indeed. And there's lovely photos up there of, well, myself, of course, dear Dad's up there, and my dear daughter Emily. So it's like being at home here.
Yeah.
And how many years have you been here at Cheltenham now?
I think it's about 12. I mean, I'm not counting the years. On the contrary, it's just it's one of those dates in the calendar that you look forward to. It's a great sporting event. Yes, it's horse racing, but it's also a great sporting event, and it's an iconic place. So, I would say to anyone and everyone to just come and join us. It really is a wonderful day out.
How many chefs in the kitchen?
We're about 30. So 30 chefs for nearly 700 covers that we'll be doing today.
Wow. So what are you doing during racing? You're going around, are you a shouter?
Do I look like a shouter?
Yes.
If I shout in French.
So you trust you've got a good team and you let them?
I have got a fabulous team, a team of professional chefs that recreate all these wonderful dishes. I'm in the kitchen. Yes, I do put my finger in the sauce, metaphorically speaking, of course. I actually look. Oh, here it is. I've got a spoon.
Right.
Always a spoon in the back pocket.
So no, I devise the menu, and I guide them all to make sure that everybody is satisfied.
And when did you pick the menu? Is this January? Is this? No.
Wow. That's a really good question. As soon as Cheltenham's over, we start thinking about the next menu. Right. So it's very important.
And so what sort of influences have you brought into this menu for this year?
Yeah, so you have got the pudding there. That's my favourite pudding.
Good sticky toffee pudding.
Yeah, but it's got a little bit of French in it because it's also a tarte tatin. It's got the apple on there. So it's an apple that's cooked in butter and sugar, so it's got the flavours of the tarte tatin, but it's also got the comforting and warming of the sticky toffee.
I tell you what, Ella, why don't you have a taste? Because we'll go back to front and do that.
We'll start with the sweet dessert, shall we?
We're going to do it. You've got to go in there.
And what's the cream we've got on the side here, Michelle?
A little bit of chantilly cream with vanilla.
Oh my goodness. That is like heaven in a bowl. Honestly, that is delicious. I'll stay here and eat this for the rest of the afternoon, please.
No, we'll come back. I mean, you were finished tomorrow, probably come back in the afternoon.
Yeah, more sticky toffee pudding for me.
What's this man got, Neil?
So, yes, you have the ray of sunshine in a plate there. That's the raw stone bass, a little bit of caviar. You've got the pink grapefruit, lemon. So it's a light, refreshing starter.
I love the colour of this one. It's so bright and vibrant.
Indeed. I mean, that's we sold a lot of that yesterday because it was a bright, sunny day. But today, being a bit windy and blustery and cold, we're going to do.
I was just going to say that would appeal when the sun's out. Spring-like weather. Absolutely. Where today there'll be coats on, French onion soup.
That's always the problem with Cheltenham because you never know what the weather's going to be like.
Yeah.
It could be really cold or it could be a lovely spring day like yesterday.
How was that?
Fabulous. I mean, I'm coming in. I came in on Monday. I got here a bit early, didn't I?
This is your 7th trip to this restaurant,
tasting.
Neil.
You know what I'm like?
Yes, Neil, yes.
Thank you. I ought to say as well, just in terms of stone bass as well, oh God, the flavours are great. Just the length of flavours are fantastic. But also we have here your wine. Yes. Michel Roux's wine here with Michel Chapoutier. Southern France, Languedoc-Roussillon, Grenache Gris mainly. And what is good here is the sort of peachy character, the citrus character that goes really well with the stone bass. I've got to go in and have a taste.
That's a beautiful wine.
We're going to, so what you've got there, you've got Chateau Le Gaspard, and that's Bordeaux, Castillon, 2015, fantastic year 2015 in Bordeaux. Merlot dominated, so Merlot's quite gentle, not really hard tannins, so it's a really great wine to drink now, and actually fantastic with the venison, because guess today, you can pull the cork on this wine, and it's just superb to drink now. It's really, really nice. Good structure, but not over the top at all. You would have to have a taste, actually.
I have done. When you're talking,
I'm going to tell you how it tastes the venison. You're a bit late.
I will do. We've got a terrine here.
So here we have the pâté en croûte, as we say in French. So it's basically a French version of a pie. Pork meat, prunes, a little bit of liver in there, a crust, the jelly, and a salad to go with it.
And I've got venison.
You have venison, roast loin, and a sausage there, or faggot, that's made with all the trimmings there, so we don't waste anything. Good, hearty red wine sauce to go with it too.
And red wine with that.
Wonderful Bordeaux wine.
Yeah. And tell us about when racing starts today. Do people come and go freely, or do you find most people just enjoy the food and watch the TV, or a mixture?
Well, I mean, there's the balcony and the view outside is fantastic. You don't really need to wander too far. It's all here. That's the beauty of this.
I've got to say, because we've talked about this before, I really love being down the course. I don't want to watch the race by the finishing line. I like to see how race develops.
Well, here you're between the last fence and...
Yeah. And
you're really in the thick of it here, aren't you?
You see the tactical change, and we've seen that so many times over the years, and being in this here in Chez Rouge to see that is great. Like you say, Michelle, people don't need to go anywhere else.
I think this is probably the best spot, because you not only hear the roar, you can feel the roar, and you can hear the thumping of the hoofs as well coming up the hill. It's an incredible spot.
But unfortunately for me and Neil, when the roar for the winners come by the winning post, me and Niels is just straight across the way, isn't it? The last couple of days.
Yeah, I think so.
We're in the same boat, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. It's
not been easy.
I tell you what, I'm more inclined to bet on how many French onion soups.
Yeah.
To be honest.
That sounds like a more sensible option, doesn't it?
I drove back in the car last night going, oh dear me, it's a great vibe. I'm enjoying myself.
What wins today? Should I ask you?
I'm doing car parking instead. No, I tell you what I'm going to go for. John Bon. I'm going to go for John Bon because I know people are going to say about the trip and everything, but I just think people still haven't given him enough credit. And I know I'm treading a bit of sentiment here, I have to say, but never out the first two in his whole career. Come on.
Do you think he'll be able to get the better of Factor File if they both run?
I'm not worried about Factor File. I'm not worried about. I think Factor File is overhyped. I wonder if he'll run.
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the question this morning, whether Factor File will actually run.
But John Bon thoroughly deserves to get a Cheltenham Festival win, doesn't he?
Well, if he does, I tell you what, if he wins, and he will win, I'll be wherever I am, I'm racing down to the winner's enclosure to cheer him in. He's absolutely fantastic horse, brilliant horse.
We've got one request before we finish up. We've got a super fan. Gary O'Brien, our presenter, our esteemedly excellent Gary O'Brien, his wife Lisa is a massive, massive fan. It'd be nice to send him back to Ireland with if you'd be so kind, would you sign it to Lisa, please?
Lisa, of course. Absolutely.
You get these requests a lot, don't you?
Just a few. To Lisa.
He should really bring her next year, shouldn't he?
Well, he should really. I mean, I think it's a bit of feedback for you guys.
Yeah, he's never brought Lisa, so we'll book her in next year. She could sit over beside
There you go, Lisa.
She can come next year.
Cool. She'll go this year, and we're going to come back down for the first race, me and you, this afternoon.
Definitely. We'll be right back.
See you later.
Good stuff. We're looking forward to it. I hope the next 2 days goes as well as the first 2 days. Great to see you once again.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle. Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers, Ella.
Cheers to them all, and I'm sure Gary's wife Lisa will be delighted with that signed programme for today's racing, but a fine dining package should be in the offering for Cheltenham 2027. So Gary, you know what you have to do. All right, we're moving on. We're looking ahead to the Close Brothers Mares Hurdle coming next. Looking back on the last 10 winners, oh, look at this for a roll of honour. The lovely Lossiemouth 2025 and 2024. Honeysuckle in 2023, so many amazing stories. And Honeysuckle in 2020, you've had a couple of big prize winners, a few surprises, and obviously class. Vroom Vroom Mag, remember her? Apple's Jade back in 2017. I really love this race and looking forward to it once again with Woodoo for Gordon Elliott, very well fancied. Here's the betting. 8 to 11, one of the odds-on favourites, part of that banker today. Jade Tagruji at 15 to 8, Feet of a Dancer 9 to 1. Take no chances at 14s. Dream On, baby. 33s. Jatara in with the chance at big prize. 33s maybe, and Sunset Marquesa at 125 to 1. Woodoo has been a very special mare. She's a 6-year-old. Jack Kennedy will be on board, and 9 from 10. The only defeat came in the hands of Lossiemouth in the Grade 1 Aintree Hurdle. And for her trainer, Gordon Elliott, the apple of his eye, I'm sure. Let's hear from him with Lisa O'Neill.
Woodoo. We remember last year, obviously, Cheltenham was painful enough. It was a difficult time. Obviously the horses were running really well but just weren't getting the winners, and Woodoo was the one who gave you that emotional win on in the final race of the day, on the final day of the week. She goes back to Cheltenham, potentially taking on a couple in the mares race. She goes there with a big chance.
Yeah, look, as you know, like, she's so unassuming at home, like nothing really phases her. She's not a fancy workhorse, but yeah, as you alluded to there, like, you know, Cheltenham, you know, if the horses had been running bad all week, you'd have your head in the ground, you'd be half depressed, and to get a winner would be more of a relief. But I suppose the emotion of hitting the crossbar with so many horses during the week, whether it was second, third, fourth, they were running well. But it was just, you know, not just for me, for all the staff in the yard, you know, everyone works so hard, as you know, to get there, and we all put so much into it, and, you know, it is sport and everything doesn't always go right for you, but that to win the last race and the last day, like, it was like winning the Gold Cup to me. Like, it was just it was just like just draining everything out of your body. But yeah, look, she was a great mare. You know, it was just such a buzz when she won. You know, she's owned by a good bunch of friends of mine, and she's a great mare. Like, she's only been beaten once by Lossie Mount. I think it was her first run out of open company.
She's an unbelievable record.
Yeah.
10 runs for you, only beaten once.
Yeah. Look, to be honest, she's something else. And as you know, like, the thing I love about her is she's not fancy at home. You never really know what's under the bonnet or where she's going to go to. But she's a great attitude and she wants to win.
Was it just a sense of relief as well that day?
Oh, it was more relief, yeah. Well, it was relief, yeah. And just to say you got one winner, like, you know, I drive myself on the whole time and it's winners I want. I'm driven by them. But I suppose the fact the horses were running well, I was probably trying to convince himself, oh, it's okay, look, we haven't got a winner, but they're running well. But just to get that one winner, like, it's an amazing feeling.
Personally, I thought you dealt with it a lot better than I thought you would have done.
Yeah, I think, as you know, Lisa, I'm getting a bit older now and I probably deal with it a lot better. But look, you just got to keep smiling, don't you?
She came to the rescue for Gordon Elliott 12 months ago here at Cheltenham. She's into the fray a bit earlier this time around. Here is Woodoo's win in the Martin Pipe Conditional Jockeys Handicap Hurdle. And basically, guys, she hasn't really looked back since then, has she? How tough a rival is she going to be for the rest to overcome with Lossie Mouth obviously not in her way?
Very difficult, yeah. I mean, obviously she's only been beaten once, and that was by Lossie Mouth at Aintree, who showed a little bit too much speed for her. She's a bit of an anomaly, this mare, that she never really does anything fabulous on the figures, but she just wins. And, you know, that durability, that resolution, that beautiful way of going, the uncomplicated style of her racing is really going to stand her in good stead again today. And she's just a bit of a winning machine, and she's a very difficult horse to crib.
It's a good sort of thing to have, just winning, isn't it? Yeah. Just finding a way. Yeah. As you say, on the metrics that you're kind of looking at with your time figures and that kind of thing, there's nothing exceptional necessarily there, is there? But
no, she's not flash, she's not exuberant, but she's just got a very, very uncomplicated professional way of racing. I was going to sort of align her to Arsenal, really. She wins ugly occasionally, but they're not even that ugly, these performances. They're just almost matter of fact, aren't they? The way she just goes about, and you could set your clock by her.
Yeah, Danny Gilligan had ridden her, of course, to victory here at Cheltenham last year. He's been her partner for many of her starts, but Jack Kennedy was back in the plate at Leopardstown last time, and he rides her again today. A couple of horses that she beat there, reopposed here, guys. They're actually worse off with Woodoo this time around. Makes it tough, doesn't it?
Exactly. It's hard to really see those that are behind her there reversing the form, isn't it? And you know, she's got Cheltenham form, she's got festival form, she's got form on this kind of ground. So she ticks a load of boxes, and she does just win races. She's only been beaten once over jumps, and that was by Lossie Mouth at Aintree. And she got closer to Lossie Mouth than most of them managed to. So you know, there's a lot to recommend her on.
Feet of a Dancer is a really admirable mare, though. I've got a lot of time for her, trained by Paul Nolan, and of course she ran very well for a never near a fourth in the Pretemps here last year. She bagged a nice win earlier on in the campaign at Punchestown, Sam. I think she's very much in the mix if you're looking maybe to play without the favourite here. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, she's a beautiful filly, isn't she? She's quite diminutive herself, and I was really taken with her at Doncaster as well, because she's got resolution allied to a bit of class, and the way that she moves through races. You know, obviously this is probably a world away from what she's going to require this afternoon, but she's really, really taking horse. Obviously, very good fourth in the Pertemps when virtually every rival in the field dwarfed her a little bit, but it's been a week of diminutive, tidy, effective performances, really, isn't it, by some of the smaller members of the equine community. We saw it yesterday with Elete Tomp and Tuesday with Cargeese. You know, you don't have to be massive to win a Cheltenham race, but I do think today, I know she's finished quite close to Woodoo, but I just wonder whether, even though we're having a little bit of rain now, whether she might be vulnerable if it turns into a bit of a speed test.
Jade de Grugy's the big hope for Willie Mullins and Paul Town, and this time with Lossie Mouth, of course, spectacularly diverted to the champion here. He'll be here with us any second now, folks. Back to the task at hand, Chris.
Sorry, it just got me back.
I've definitely got the best draw here, haven't I?
Jade de Grugy, winner over fences last time.
Yeah, back over smaller obstacles, and again has got Cheltenham Festival form. You go back to last year, and she was second to Lossie Mouth, and no Lossie Mouth in the way this time around. Now she didn't get as close to Lossie Mouth here at Cheltenham as Woodoo did when she was behind Lossie Mouth at Aintree. Then you'd argue that Lossie Mouth is probably a better horse at Cheltenham than Aintree, so you know, read into that what you will. Jade de Grugy is smart in her own right. Willie Mullins is having a fabulous week. She's got plenty of Grade 1 form. She's back over smaller obstacles. I don't see that being a bother for her. And she's not had sort of a hard race on her most recent start, has she? It was very easy for her.
You've got the switch back to hurdles, haven't you? But I'm sure she's been extensively schooled, and they seem to mix and match very well, that team. So she has contracted fair amount in price as well, 7-2 into 15-8 in the last 24 hours. Now, is that because she's a possible pace angle along with Dream On Baby, or is it because of the Mullins team are in full operation?
Is there a bet here, guys, or is it just one to watch?
I'll be having a bet without the favourite. I think I'll back Take No Chances. He was third in the race last year, and just doing some work on last year's card, she was actually quicker from the 4 furlong pole than Kopek de Board, Golden Ace. Put your hands together. She was just a little bit too far back. I could understand why she was ridden as she was last year, but I think she's got a little bit of latent speed, and if she sits a little bit closer to the pace, I could see her running a really big race here. I wish there was a third place.
You staying neutral?
Yeah, I quite like Sam's angle, but I'm going to sit it out and maybe try and keep warm.
And dry. Close Brothers Mares Hurdle down 2:40 this afternoon. Time for us to rejoin Niall and Ella.
The gates are open, people coming in their droves ahead of day 3 of the Cheltenham Festival. Michael Chinners from Sky Bet joins us. Haven't seen much of you. How's the first 2 days been?
It does feel a bit of deja vu though now, this conversation, but yeah, it's been okay. All Pack Star, good winner of the Sky Bet Supreme.
After winning the Sky Bet Rossington Main before?
Yeah, the Sky Bet Moscow Flyer horse didn't do as well.
Might get the Sky Bet Ebor maybe?
Possibly Constitution Hill, yeah, we'll get that mentioned into the...
Or freshen them up and they can go watch the Sky Bet Championship game at the weekend?
You know it, absolutely, yeah. Up the borough.
Yeah, well, we haven't got Peter Knott, we got Ella McNeil today.
Yes. 18.
Sorry about that, Shinners.
No, 18. Yeah. 18. But no, yeah, yesterday was a tough day for punters.
Tell me about it.
Some results that you would have been like, who'd have thought it results. But we go into today fresh, ready to go, a little bit windier, and yeah, we'll see what happens.
My best bet yesterday, Ella, was a non-runner in the bumper.
Good start.
That was my best one.
But you've got Cabrel de Batten at 25-1, so I think that's a pretty decent bet now.
Well, until he finishes last.
Do you think he'll stay?
Do I think he'll stay? No, to be perfectly honest.
Thanks,
I don't.
Mate.
But then I've never trained a horse before in my life, so I wouldn't know. But I appreciate the ground's going to be quicker and what have you. But still, you need to stay in that race, and the likes of Bob Ollinger and the grinders will come to the fore. But we shall see. I hope he does for you. Hope he does for you.
And albeit it's going to be more of a test, even with the wind. It's good, like, as you turn in the new track, there's quite a ferocious headwind now. Speaking to John Pullen, he said it could get up to sort of gusts of 45 miles an hour.
It's going to make it tough out there, isn't it? And it's going to, if the rain doesn't come, it's going to just dry out the ground even further, isn't it?
All right, enough of that. Market movers. Yeah. Where's the money been?
No Hexham today.
No.
Wind.
Is it off?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Because of the wind.
Right.
Causing chaos.
There we go. It'll be fine here. We'll be fine here. Yeah. Kingston Queen in the
I
in the
really
first.
like her chance.
Really
like her chance. She ran well at Aintree last year in the bumper. Her Old Park Storm form obviously won the Sky Bet Supreme. And at Warwick last time out, I thought she just idled in front. I thought she was value for 10 lengths more. She hit the front a mile too soon. I think she's a good mare. I think she's a chance. What price is she? 18 sort of?
She was. But she's 11-1 now with ourselves.
She's been well backed.
Extra places, 4 places. Question for you, Ella. Bambino Fever. Does she win?
I think she just wins.
There we go. Rock solid in the betting. Of all the favourites that are running today, she's the strong one of the 3 or 4 of them that are running today.
Just the confidence coming out of Cliff Sutton. They just don't think she was going to get beat.
Right. Second race?
Second race, Jordan's Cross. No 6 mile bridge, non-runner unfortunately. So yeah, with that Jordan's Cross, yes, there is a bit of a rule for, but that horse is into 100-30 from 7-1. Really solid in the betting.
Extra places?
6 places in that one now. No, 6 places.
Nearly a charity, isn't it?
Well, you know, it's just it is. But we like to give a little bit back. You know.
I'll back the 7.
Very generous.
Yes, thank you.
I'll find the 7.
Yeah.
Right, we move on.
And then in the mares hurdle, Jay de Grugy has been well backed against Woodoo. You can kind of see why, I guess. 15-8 from 100-30, just with Willie Mullins. I mean, we say it every year with the horses flying, and is it they're all Grade 1 winners he's
Yeah,
had. Yeah, 5 Grade 1 winners so far. The next race, the 320, which is the Paddy Power Stayers Hurdle. We're paying 4 places. Cabral de Mathan, your horse, has been supporting Isle, 72 from 92.
For the Skeltons.
Yeah.
And obviously Dan watching on with Willie getting all this prize money, he'd be keen anyway, but he might just be a bit extra keen.
Yeah. Be good to see Gordon get a winner.
It would.
Yeah,
it would.
I mean, yes, he's had a few beaten, but he's had a couple that have run fine.
Yeah.
Favre de Chandeau, I thought, was a little unlucky in the cross country yesterday. He just had a bit too much weight on his back, probably, didn't he?
Yeah.
So, and then we go on to the Ryanair weakness in Factor File.
Right.
Obviously, there is. We assume that he's running, but I mean that wouldn't necessarily affect the price because you're going to get ruled forward. But John Bond has been really popular in the betting, 100 to 30 from 6 to 1.
Do you think we'll see them both run?
Hope so. You'd like to think so, wouldn't you?
Hope so.
But yeah, hopefully. John Bond, I don't know. There's money for Impere Pass as well. The plan seemed to always be to go to Angel.
Yeah, not come here, and he's here.
But he's in, so we shall see. And then later on in the card, absolutely Doyen in the Potemps, 10 from 14, where we're 6 places, and Jericho Roque. Could be, yeah.
Jericho Rock.
Jericho
Rock.
Yeah,
well, there's forming a big boost.
Yeah, he did.
10 from 14, so loads of extra places. The handicaps look really tricky, but then you've got those 3 sort of really solid ones at the front of the market who are all going to be really popular.
Hopefully it'll be easier to find some winners today.
And then tomorrow move on to the Cheltenham Gold Cup.
Yeah. So we've got, I mean, I wouldn't like to say what's going to go favourite. Django Bai, Gaelic Warrior, who knows what's going to go favourite. The Jukebox Man. I think there'll be a lot of talk for the Jukebox Man in the sort of coming from now and tomorrow morning. All the papers will be focusing on the Harry Redknapp angle. So we shall see. But yeah, really looking forward to the Boodles Gold Cup. It should be a belter. I think it looks like it's going to be one of the best ones that we've had for a few years.
If it's half as good a finish as the King George, we'll in for a treat.
We'd take that, wouldn't we?
Yeah,
Who's your fancy in it though? Who do you like?
I don't know, just Gaelic Warrior. Just Gaelic Warrior, but I mean, I think you can make claims for it. I thought Iron Maximus would run well in it. You know, he's definitely going to get the trip. But yeah, I wouldn't have a real sort of strong opinion. What do you think, Alan?
I've always been with Gaelic Warrior this season. I think they've just got they're beginning to get a grasp on him. And then with Paul Talon on board, I think he's got a really great chance.
Lance Tower could run well.
Do you think? Yeah,
I do. He's unexposed at this trip.
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me.
He's had some week, JP, hasn't he?
Just a bit. 75th birthday, celebrating style.
Yeah, he's good, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's good.
Yep. Right, good stuff. Not as good as you. That's Michael Shitters from Sky Bet. We'll be hearing more from him later on in the programme.
Mark your card. Proudly sponsored by Timeform.
Join the Racing TV team live from 9:45 a.m. every day of the festival for all 7 races. The best pundits in the business, all of the festival atmosphere, the best insights, the best analysis. This is Cheltenham on Racing TV.
The greatest of all time is not who you think. The GOAT is a horse. Witness true greatness and get a completely free bet on day 3 this Cheltenham with Sky Bet.
Mark your card. Proudly sponsored by Timeform.
Welcome back. Really excited for day 3 at the Cheltenham Festival with 3 Grade 1s on the horizon. But looking back on what was a pretty magnificent day 2, wasn't it? Some outstanding performances and a fair share of drama as well.
King Rasco Brand is going clear. Roscoe Gray takes the turn as a 40th Cheltenham Festival winner for Paul Townend. Final fence, Kitzbühel over with a slender lead to Funnel Demand on the inside. Kitzbühel gamely sticking his grey head out in front, and Kitzbühel has won the Brown Advisory. Jinko Blue is driven clear by 3 lengths. Racing up towards the line, a spectacular round of jumping in the cross-country chase. The final order to win.
Tom regathers the momentum. He's still clear halfway up the run-in, and it's Townend and Mullins in the Bellington Queen Mother Champion Chase. Tom has run them ragged to win.
Paul Townend reigning supreme once again yesterday at the festival with Tom taking the feature. He was also on board King Roscoe Gray as well, and of course not forgetting Lossiemouth on day 1. So there you can see he is in front, and the jockey standings heading into day 3. Townend on top with 3 winners in 2 seconds. James Bowen, I mean, before Tuesday, never ridden a festival winner. It's incredible. Landing another one yesterday for Nicky Henderson. Harry Skelton, he's on 1, as is Nico de Bonneville, Mark Walsh, Danny Mullins, Harry Cobden, all looking for more, and brilliant day for Connor Stone Walsh, Richie McLernan on day 1. Charlie Deutsch yesterday, big outsider, and Colin and Keane, of course, landing the bumper. Right, that is how things are standing on the jockey front. What about the trainers? Willie Mullins, shock. 5 winners, 2 seconds and a third. Nicky Henderson just 2 behind, and then Skelton, Cromwell, Roach, O'Neill, Williams and Mead all in the mix. Gordon Elliott's a very, very big day for him, isn't it? What about the Prestbury Cup? Well, the Brits were basking in glory, weren't they, after day 1? Ireland have gone in front. They lead by 2. It's Ireland 8, Great Britain 6. And for us next on Mark Your Card, we're going to take a look at one of the Novice Chases on the card today. It's race 2. It's the Jack Richards. Novices limited handicap and overextended 2.5 miles. Looking to the last few winners. 7-year-olds, good record. There you'll see Cadwell Potter, Grey Dawning, Stage Star, Bob Ollinger and Chantry House, all 7. And indeed Shattered Love, York Hill and Black Hercules. The only 6-year-old in there in recent years, Steffi DeSoy, and Sam Crow won it at 8. But Harry Cobden and Harry Skelton, the jockeys in recent years, and the Brits as well. Jordan's Cross is the favourite, and a bit of a win machine for Anthony Honeyball. Has got a course and distance win as well at 9-2. The favourite, but only just. This is open. It's really competitive. Big betting heat. 5-1 Regent Stroll. Meet Me by the Sea at 7-1. Slade Steel is an 8-1 chance, and then we've got 9-1 for Stencil. Wingman at 11s, and the Bluesman also at 11-1. It's 14-1 and bigger the rest. And here is Regent Stroll looking at the numbers. This 7-year-old walk in the park out of Pretty Puttons, and the form, well, very consistent for Harry Cobden and Paul Nicholls this season. Let's find out more with Josh Stacey.
Regent Stroll goes to the Jack Richards Novice Chase, which he won last year with Coldwell Potter, and they don't have dissimilar profiles. Coldwell Potter had this lofty reputation given novice hurdle form, like Regent Stroll. They probably were slightly underwhelming what they did before the Cheltenham Festival, and then they went to a race which they were on a nice mark in Coldwell Potter, and he went and won. Do you see similarities between him and Regent Stroll?
Well, they're both class horses. That's the biggest similarities, but they're different in lots of ways. But, you know, Coldwell Potter, we were learning about him all the time, and John was convinced he was a 2-miler, but I always thought he wanted a trip, and once we'd worked out, it was fairly obvious that he was well handicapped. And I thought, you know, there was this big thing he wanted heavy ground because he'd won on heavy ground. I think that was circumstance. I thought he was better horse on better ground, which he proved in the 2 races at Cheltenham and Aintree. But
with Regent Stroll, then, he goes into the Jack Richards off a pound lighter, but he's got Grade 1 novice hurdle form. I mean, we saw him this morning. He looked an absolute picture.
Best he's looked. Best mentally he is at the moment. He's learning all the time. Going to Cheltenham on New Year's Day was the best thing we could have done. He learnt about Cheltenham. He learnt an awful lot that day. I know I can get him way better than I had him. And he had 3 quick runs. The first time he was too fresh and exuberant at Newbury, and how he ran as well as he did being so keen. Then at Wincanton, he just had a canter run really, but got some experience and he ran very well. Some horses like Caldwell Potter are asleep, laid back, and you've got to wake him up. He's a complete opposite, but he's getting there. Yeah. And he'll just keep improving. And we've only scratched the surface with the Regent Stroll.
That would have done the world
Absolutely.
There, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
What do you think about his handicap mark of 145?
Very fair.
Very fair.
Yeah. Well, he's nearly a grade 1 horse, isn't he, off 145, so that's the sort of mark you want to be. That's fair.
You're always looking long term. You're always looking at Kempton and King George's. Could you see him following the Caldwell Potter route if he was to run really well at the Cheltenham Festival and be stepped up to 3 miles or something like Aintree, with a view then to Christmas, Kempton, King George?
Well, look, take it step by step, but my plan was always to go to Cheltenham and then if it was right, have a crack at Aintree over 3 miles. But a decent run. It always struck me that perhaps he's a sort of horse who could be a King George horse. As I said, the relative comparison with Clan des Avaux and Frodon, they were, they didn't blow the world away as novices, but they got better and better as they improved. And my view is he's as good as those two.
And here is Regent Stroll on his latest start here on New Year's Day, finishing second to Miami Magic. And of course, he was a beaten favourite this day. In terms of tactics, Sam, are you expecting him to go forward and try and do a Caldwell Potter today?
I think he'll slide along, won't he? I think it's a big benefit to him that 6 Mile Bridge doesn't run. There is other pace pressure from the likes of Ben Solo, perhaps, King Alexander, Moon Rocket might even go. I was a little bit disappointed with him this day. I know he's beaten favourite and California and Vol was 3rd and he's won since, but Miami Magic put him in his place quite readily here. And I think his chance does really revolve around, A, does he get to post nice and calm and relaxed and unpressured, because he can be a little bit of a hothead, and just how he jumps over the first 2. But as we've touched on already this morning, Cobby from the front can be a phenomenal force, and if he does get his own way in front, he might be a hard horse to resist.
Form has been boosted in the interim, of course, from that race. What about Meet Me by the Sea? Chris, I don't think anyone is going to judge him too harshly on that last run at Newbury. No. Probably served its purpose, qualified him for this. We're going to go back to the previous race at Ayr, where he took advantage of his market rivals' jumping frailties later on here, but still seemed to win with a bit in hand. Would that be fair?
Yeah, it is. I think his bits of form of offences are far removed from what he's going to have to take on this afternoon, and it is a significantly tougher assignment for him. I think you can comfortably pick holes in both this and Wetherby in terms of quality of form. But if you're looking at quality of form, I guess you go back to his hurdles runs and you look at a 3rd in an EBF final, which was a good race as ever, and he ran very well in that. So I wouldn't be dead against him. I just think he's a touch too short, considering the depth of his chasing form leaves him with a bit to find off the mark that he's on. I referenced his hurdles form. He did get beaten off 128, so he's going to need to be better to win this off 139, because this is the deepest race he's been in since then.
Let's have a look at some more Cheltenham form then, and this is a race that has often worked out very well in the past, the Timeform Novices Handicap Chase on Trials Day here in January. And Sam, it was won this year by Jordan's Cross. We've seen Quebec well come out of this and run very well here earlier on in the week. Cadeau Sunfray involved as well, has certainly upheld the form in the interim. How do we see this one shaking?
Yeah, and you've got Scarface and 1 or 2 others in the backwash as well. Calavet involved, they've gone in since. The James Owen horse has won since. It's invariably a very good race to follow, the Timeform Novices Handicap Chase. My only slight concern about this lad is that, I mean, look at the way he finishes off here. If he just gets lost at a crucial stage when the pace is really quickening, because I think he's a very, very strong stayer at the trip. I think he'd just about get the nod for me today, but I'm just a little worried that he might be out of his ground when the pace is quickening and the tempo's rising. But I think he's got a great chance, and Anthony Honeyball's horses couldn't be in better form, and his handicap chasers have had another stellar season.
Let's check out the market then. Lots and lots of horses you can make a case for here. Just a reminder that 6 Mile Bridge is one of the non-runners, significant non-runner obviously. 9 to 2 then Jordan's Cross, 5 Regent Stroll, 7 Meet Me by the Sea. Slade Steele, I'm interested in him, the former Supreme Novice Hurdle winner, at 8 to 1 for Darrow O'Keefe and Henry de Bromhead. 9 Stencil, Wingman 11. 11 with the Bluesman and 14 to 1 by those. Any others, guys, that you want to throw into the mix there?
I think Stensel's an intriguing runner. I think he's obviously been campaigned over 2 miles predominantly because he's very keen and a little hot-headed, as we saw in the Fred Winter last year. But he's a great big imposing horse. I mean, those who saw him in the paddock last year were very taken by him. I think he's another one that's sort of hid his light under a bushel a little bit this year and been handicapped on his 2-mile form. If he does consent just to drop his head, I think he's a very talented horse, and 2.5 might be the making of him if he switches off.
2 for me, Gary, just quickly. Jordan's Cross has been mentioned. I have the same concern for you, but I like the depth of his form. And the other horse that you mentioned, Slade Steel, at the current prices, he'd be top of the list for me. Didn't stay last time out. This will be the right kind of ground, the right type of test. This race kind of is going to show the difference between the 2 tracks, isn't it? And you can still do it from the front on this track, but it's not as pace advantageous as the old course. If this race was set up on yesterday's track, then I would be fancying different horses to what I am, but it's those 2, Slade Steel and Jordan's Cross for me.
Lovely stuff. Thank you, boys. That's the Jack Richards Novice Handicap Chase then at 2 o'clock this afternoon. We're going to rejoin Niall and Ella. The rain has stopped for now. Let's see, have they ventured outside maybe?
I think we're getting a bit soft. We've got a bit of rain cover. It's only spitting. They call it back home, isn't it?
Soft or clever?
Yeah. True.
That's why you're getting wet at this hour of the day. It's going to be a long enough day as it is now without getting soft.
Well, you're all right. You've got a truck to sit in. You won't be too wet.
I know that, but still.
Yeah. You get soft.
Yeah.
You get soft. Enjoy yesterday?
I did, yes. Good races. Obviously didn't see Major blown out the way he did, but obviously stood at the start and then ran away. There was some good races. Yeah, it was a really good race. I thought the Brown Advisory was a brilliant race to watch. Yeah. I thought Harry Cobden and Paul Townend going at it from the top of the hill. I thought it was as good as it gets in this good.
And just watching him over those fences was just like poetry in motion, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Were you expecting him to put in a performance like that?
I wasn't sure what to expect. Obviously, he'd been disappointed at Sandown. He was jumping very right when you unseated Paul, but he had been good at Kempton in the Cardo Star, and he had beaten Cod Doughty in a beginner's chase at Punchestown. So the form was there. Wish I paid enough attention and looked for it.
He's good and brave, isn't he? He's brave. You lie down on him, he won't let you down.
He'll go for you, won't he?
Yeah.
Headgear, sorry, I've just mentioned Headgear because Headgear's been the talking point, hasn't it, with Willie Mullins this week, with Il Était Temps, the hood off in the Champion Chase, seemed to make all the difference.
It did, but it looked like if you could have pulled it off and gone to the first in Ascot, you would have.
Yeah.
But obviously it's too late then. But yeah, it didn't make a difference to him. Came from off a really strong pace, got a really good ride, but you're sending Paul Townend out and effectively was the second string. There's no pressure on him, he can do anything.
That's just saying, Willie's won five grade ones. Once game on Tuesday, you're coming here thinking not as many odds on. Great for the sport, great. Willie's maybe not as strong as he normally is. What's happened? He's won 5 races. A couple of the main ones, maybe Marsborough doesn't show up. L.A. Thompson steps in. Cargazzi steps in the Arkle to beat Kopek, who made a mistake at the last. We've seen it in the Brown Advisory. He's still some depth.
Oh yeah, but as Willie always says, you have to have the backup.
Yeah.
He's looking at a race we have won, yeah, but what's the backup? You always have to have backup, and he's having a great week. 6 winners on the board and absolutely flying.
And all the main ones.
Exactly, and it looks like he's going to have another strong day today. Bambino Fever, she looks pretty unbeatable in the first.
She does. She looks to be in really good form too. Chelsea has a turn made in hurdle form with Old School Outlaw, but he'd be hoping she can do that. She was good in the bumper here last year, and she looks really well, and she'll handle the ground too. Look, I don't know what rain is going to fall between now and race time, but she'll handle it anyway.
And what's the reasoning for the first time tongue tie?
I think she was making a noise the last day. Paul just said, here, stick something on her, so tongue tie on.
Bit of help. Yeah. New track, old track. We touch on this every year. We touched on it yesterday briefly, but they're like chalk and cheese. People watch it on. Like today, there's less emphasis on stamina in the hurdle races, and I think jockeyship can be more important in this year because some jockeys can tend to get racing a long way out.
You can. I mean, if you go after the second last hurdle on the new course, you'll get halfway to the last hurdle. You're not going to get to the line. You have to sit all the way in off the bend, cross the road, and then commit. But it does. It makes for good racing. It's a different venue almost, even though we're still in the same place. But yeah, it will. Chase track won't be much difference in the chase track.
No.
More so over hurdles. That long run from 2 out to the last can be really telling. But yeah, it's a great track, and I think if we get the same kind of racing as we've had the first 2 days, we'll all be happy.
And a bit of rain tonight. It's going to be proper national weather tomorrow for the Gold Cup.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. I think the rain, was the rain inconvenience anything in the Gold Cup? don't think it does
You
it?
wouldn't have thought so.
No.
It depends how much we get it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, but I think that all handle a bit of an ease in the ground.
Stamina-wise, with a jukebox man, who haven't proved, they might well relish it. But I suppose it makes it more of a stamina test.
It does. That goes for Gaelic Warrior, Jukebox Man, and Django Boy. So there's 3 there that would have to prove their stamina.
Spillans Tower.
Spillans Tower, probably, yeah. And you have a couple that will stay. Like, I know the way you're thinking, Horticolor, they're guaranteed to stay, aren't they?
It's been interesting, though, to see how the pace has held up over the last 2 days, because on the day one we saw it paid to be up with the pace, and the same yesterday, but then in the last kind of 3 or 4 races, we saw horses coming in from behind, so it's been a bit of everything this week.
It does, but then what happens is, like, your jockeys realise you had to be with the pace, and then all of a sudden too many are with the pace, and you go too hard, and that can happen. Obviously the Grand National would have collapsed a bit. Colin Keane came from plenty far back in the bumper as well, so look, it can happen, but it's pace, it's about reading pace. We get hung up on position. It's actually speed,
how quick they're going,
how fast you're going,
and how you're going.
Yeah,
can you lie up for it? If you take your horse out of your comfort zone, you're not going to win anything. No matter where you are. Good for Colin Keane, wasn't it?
Brilliant.
Jamie Spencer done it. And lots have had a go at it, but he's a cool lad. He doesn't say a lot, does he?
No,
he's just a lovely fella.
Kind of lets his riding do the talking, doesn't he?
He talks enough.
He does, yeah. Factifile win today, won't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Does John Bond run?
I believe he does, yeah. I didn't hear any different. I've been looking on the apps like the rest of you. I didn't hear any different, but I think Factifile will win.
The stairs could be messy.
I think it will be. What's the front runner?
But Hewitt might go, but can he go properly? As in, do you know what I mean? Can he go a gallop? That's what I mean. Can he go a gallop?
I don't think there'll be much pace on at all, will there?
It doesn't look like Hewitt, but does Jack then sit on Hewitt's boot and force Hewitt?
Yeah.
I think he will. Like, he was always said he'd love another go at last year's race.
Or he'll have to commit a long way out and hope that.
Try and drag them. Does he get idle in front then?
Yeah. Because Bob Ollinger bit at the back, Campbell de Mathan can be chewy. He'll have to drop in.
Yeah.
Ballyburn, there's no chance.
He'll drop in as well.
He'll drop in or out.
He'll drop out, sorry. He'll drop out,
Yeah, because he'll have to step up. Yeah, it will. No good for big bucks. He'll want to maybe still be good enough.
He bounced out good and handy last year, he won, didn't he?
Yeah. But them horses that come back into the street for big bucks, he used to always hit a flat spot, and then you think you just get a louder cheer because you think they're beaten in next minute till they go again.
And that's what I'm fascinated to see how Cabrel de Matton fares stepping up to this trip.
Steadily run contest might suit him, but I'd have doubts about him staying. He's a really good jumper as well. I know he made a mistake here in the Cleve, but he attacks hurdles. He'll be hard to beat. And what's the other? Oh, the mare's hurdle. Woodoo, sure. I know Gordon's are hitting the bar a bit, but she got him out of trouble last year. I'd say she'll.
It could be a similar play to last year, couldn't it? Woodoo saving Gordon's bacon.
All right, good stuff, Race Rain. I don't want you to get wet. You might turn up tomorrow. Good stuff. Have a good day.
Chance I wouldn't.
Have a good day. We'll speak to you tomorrow.
See you guys.
Thanks, Ruby.
Cheers.
Fabulous. Always so good to hear from Ruby Walsh. Could listen to him all day talking about racing. For now, by the way, guys, fair Freeview viewers, farewell to you. The morning, we'll see you again, of course. We're the only place to show all 28 races of the Cheltenham Festival right here on Racing TV. And coming up next, it's the Timeform Race of the Day. Factifile 185, top-rated runner in the field, no big surprise, blitzed the lineup 12 months ago to land the race, and of course Imperious in the Irish Gold Cup last time out. John Bon on 179, Banbridge 178, Hartwood 175, Impere Pass 173, JPR 171, Matata 169, and Master Chewy 162. So Factifile, the favourite and the top-rated runner in the field. We've been talking about maybe not a lot of pace in the stairs. What about the Ryanair? Well, 6, 7 and 8 all expected to be handy. One of those is, of course, John Bon, with Nico de Bonneville riding for Nicky Henderson. Number 6, 7, JPR 1, and also number 8, Master Chewy, likely to be handy. And prominent as well, Hartwood for Henry de Bromhead. So there are the ratings and the pace, and let's take a look at the Timeform 1, 2, 3 Factifile in front of Banbridge and John Bon in third. So enjoy it with us here right on Racing TV for the Timeform Race of the Day.
Well, the wind's up, the rain's coming down, so myself and Ella came for a bit of shelter like we did yesterday when we bumped into Joe Kazaki in the Orway Marquee.